Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Catastrophic damage, a tornado outbreak across central U.S.
As soon as we drove up, we realized we have nothing left.
We'll show you the moment a woman found her pet cat alive in the rubble of her home.
And for us, it feels muggy as you step out the door this morning, and temperatures are much warmer today. I'll show you how long our little mini heat wave will last.
And trade war warnings. New reaction from world leaders as President Trump's tariffs are set to take effect this Saturday. Plus,
I mean, it's unbelievable, man. Game of the year, man. 1 versus 2, and we're the victors, man.
Heading to the playoffs, reactions from Carolina Hurricanes fans after the team's win against the Washington Capitals. I mean, almost a shutout last night. It was quite a game. We'll talk about it coming up. Thanks for joining us. I'm Michelle McConaughey in for NHU.
and I'm Jeff Hogan. Great to have you along here on a Thursday morning. Yeah, it's hard to shut out Ovi, as you like to call him, Alexander Ovechkin. He got his, but I'm sure they'd trade the win for just giving up one to him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all good. Elizabeth Gardner over at the WRAL Severe Weather Center, and then we woke up to this will melt the ice.
Ooh, yeah, and make your hair stand out to here, as it is in my case anyway. We do have a lot of cloud cover out there, and our dew points climbed way up to 65. And in terms of summer, that can be nice because in the summertime, it climbs all the way up into the 70s. But 65 this time of year, you're going to notice the difference. It's also really warm out there. 71 degrees right now, 72 in Fayetteville, 68 Rocky Mount and Roxborough. So it's a very warm start. Our temperatures are 15 to 20 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday. With all the moisture in the atmosphere, we do have a couple of sprinkles that have shown up, and we'll likely see some of those on and off as we get through the morning. There's 6 a.m. You can see 8 o'clock. I mean, just a quick sprinkle, but we put a 20% chance of rain in, and into the afternoon, we'll likely have a little bit of sunshine that's trying to break through. Our high temperature this afternoon climbs into the mid 80s, and we're on the way to 90s into the weekend. I'll show you coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. New this morning, more than 200,000 people across the central U.S. are without power right now after a storm system brought tornadoes to several states. This is video from Lake City, Arkansas. National Weather Service describes the tornado that hit that city overnight as catastrophic. With it still being dark, hard to know the extent of the damage there, but you can see some downed power lines, damaged buildings and cars. One moment of hope during all that destruction, though, when a woman who lost her home found her pet cat in the rubble. Look at this.
What's next is I'm going to try to pick up the piece. There's my cat.
Oh, my God. Here, come on, Derek. Have you seen her since the storm?
No.
Goodness, how about that? Live on TV right there. You can hear her sigh of relief finding that pet named Skylar. People are being urged to stay off the roads there as emergency crews assess the damage.
At midnight, new tariffs went into effect. New tariffs on automobiles start today, adding to the previous tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other imports. And this morning, leaders from around the world are reacting to President Trump's new round of sweeping tariffs that includes a baseline 10% tariff on all imports starting on Saturday. The European Union is preparing countermeasures to Trump's new tariffs on its exports. The EU's president calls the tariffs a major blow to businesses and consumers worldwide. China's Ministry of Commerce is calling on the U.S. to immediately cancel the tariffs, and economic officials in Israel say they are in complete shock over tariffs against them.
Now here's what is included in the tariffs: at least 10% on every American trading partner. Countries that Trump terms the worst offenders will face higher tariffs. That includes 54% on China, 24% on Japan, 20% on the European Union. He also announced a 25% tariff on all foreign-made vehicles. And again, that tariff goes into effect today.
And North Carolina Democratic Congresswoman Deborah Ross is condemning the tariffs. She said, quote, Trump's latest tariffs will not liberate the American people. They will drive up costs, make inflation worse, stifle the growth of jobs and businesses in North Carolina, and threaten a recession.
Republican Congressman Pat Harrigan says this is sending a strong message to other world leaders. He posted on X here, quote, if you want access to the most powerful economy in the world, treat us fairly. If not, don't expect a free ride. That's real leadership, and POTUS is delivering it. Covering Wake County for you this morning. Today we'll get an update on a $3 billion development in Apex. It's called Viridia, and construction is currently underway for it. WRAL's Eric Miller joins us from Apex here this morning. Eric, once finished, this space will be a mix of residential housing and retail space.
And Jeff, this is going to be a huge change for the face of this community. 1,200 acres that'll eventually be converted into shops, restaurants, apartments, office space, and more. And all of it's been coming for a very long time. Keep in mind, Apex Town leaders and the developer, they've been talking about this for more than a decade now. The thing is, this is so much new stuff for the town that it could potentially strain the infrastructure. That's why town leaders and the developer RXR are holding a ceremony today commemorating, of all things, a new wastewater treatment plant. The developer is going to be investing $166 million to make that plan a reality, which they say will benefit not just Viridia, but also the surrounding town as well, helping keep the entire community keep up with the fantastic growth that we've seen over the last couple of years. And grow that area will. Again, 1,200 acres. Eventually, developers say there will be 8,000 residential units on that property. Those first units are expected to open in 2027. In Apex, Eric Miller, WRAL News.
The Hurricanes are going to the playoffs. The Canes clinched their 7th straight trip to the postseason with a 5-1 win over Washington at Lenovo Center last night. Fans packed the arena for the big game against the Eastern Conference's leading team. They went home happy once again. The Canes won for the 30th time in 39 games at Lenovo this season, and now they're gearing up for another run at the Stanley Cup.
We got the scratch. We got it, man. We clinched, baby. Let's go, Canes!
Yeah, and Washington Capitals fans who came to the game, they had a little something to cheer about, too. Their star, Alex Ovechkin, did score a goal. He's now just 3 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. They let him have one.
NC State Muslim Student Association is talking about 2 students forced to leave the country after the State Department revoked their visas. In a statement, they call for transparency and demand the reinstatement of their visas. The school put out a statement about this. Part of it says NC State did not initiate these terminations and was not directly notified of the changes. We spoke with one of the students' roommates who says he flew back to Saudi Arabia after speaking with family and attorneys. He says Saul Al-Ghurad started studying at NC State 5 months ago. He was working to get his master's in engineering and also was a campus dining employee.
As a U.S. citizen, I have the ability and the right to speak up for people who are undocumented and for people like my roommate who might be afraid to speak out in a situation like this.
NC State confirms a second student who Vasto, that young man says, is also from Saudi Arabia, had their visas terminated as well. State Department tells WRAL it will not comment on specific cases, but the U.S. has zero tolerance for non-citizens who violate U.S. laws.
Flu season game changer. A new bill could save you time the next time you're sick.
I think it has the potential to have a very positive public health impact.
The changes that would help you get your medication faster, especially for people living in rural areas.
Rocks in the chocolate, a nationwide recall for some sweet treats, the kinds of Tony's chocolate bars you should throw out immediately.
And we'll take you live out to Franklinton this morning. Things are heating up for the rest of the week. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will tell us when we could see some spotty showers.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:42. Taking a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. Just a tiny bit of rain out there right now, just a sprinkle or two. And we're going to see that on and off during the morning. Later this afternoon, it's likely to taper off. But we're giving it a 20% chance up until around lunchtime or so, just to cover a sprinkle. Maybe a little hard to see, but it looks like there's a sprinkle or two showing up on the camera lens here at North Hills. Definitely it's real muggy out there and really warm too. 68 in Roxborough, 71 in Durham, 72 in Fayetteville, and 72 in Goldsboro. Lots of pollen for us the next several days. We're not going to see enough rain to wash the pollen away. So lots of yellow pine pollen, lots of oak, sweet gum, and birch. Dog walking forecast, warm and muggy. And of course, this afternoon we'll climb on up into the mid 80s. We'll talk more about our next big weather maker for the weekend coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. People in areas of Missouri will be cleaning up today after a powerful storm system brought a line of tornadoes to the St. Louis area. You can see flipped vehicles and destroyed homes. The Missouri State Highway Patrol says no deaths have been reported. Many people were able to get to shelter when they heard the storm was approaching.
In Myanmar, officials say more than 3,000 people have been confirmed dead after that powerful 7.7 earthquake hit that country last Friday. They say the true death toll is likely to be higher as hundreds of people still are missing. Aid agencies say the destruction is leading to a medical crisis now. The United Nations says some areas are completely cut off from water and electricity, and illnesses are rising in those displacement sites. 4 American soldiers who died during a training exercise in Lithuania have been publicly identified by their military unit. The 3rd Infantry from Fort Stewart, Georgia, says they were Staff Sergeant Jose Dunez Jr. of Illinois, Staff Sergeant Edwin Franco of California, and Private First Class Dante Titano of Guam, as well as Staff Sergeant Troy Knutson of Michigan. Now, the 4 soldiers and their 70-ton vehicle disappeared last week. They were later found submerged in a swamp.
Elon Musk's role with the Trump administration could soon be coming to an end. According to a senior White House official, President Trump told cabinet members Musk would be leaving his government role in the coming months. Musk is classified as a special government employee, an appointment that lasts 130 days. The president says Musk has done a good job slashing government spending, but says at some point he will need to go back to running Tesla.
A group of Good Samaritans helped rescue 2 women from a car that fell 30 feet into a creek. This happened in Charlotte Monday. A group of friends were at cookout when they noticed the car went over that steep embankment. It was upside down and quickly filling up with water, and that's when the men jumped into action to help the women get out.
I was pretty surprised that they weren't already gone, to be honest. They were under there for quite some time.
I was just feeling for something, and I felt an arm. I just pulled and I got the driver out.
The police say the driver's foot got stuck on the accelerator, and that's what caused the crash.
My goodness, that is scary. Well, a new bill could save you time at the doctor's when you get sick with the flu and get the medication you need faster. It's moving forward in the state Senate. The bill seeks to expand the role of pharmacists so they have the ability to test and treat both flu and strep throat with approved medications. Pharmacists would use what are called CLIA waived tests. Those tests carry low risk of error and can deliver results in minutes without having to send a sample to a lab. Jay Campbell with the North Carolina Board of Pharmacists says the move could help rural areas in the state with few or no doctor's offices, where pharmacies are the closest point of health care.
We had a lot of experience during COVID under some federal waivers that allowed pharmacists to essentially test for and treat COVID. And I think what that experience proved, to my mind, beyond any doubt, is that pharmacists do possess the skill to provide those services safely.
The bill would establish a clear set of rules and protocols for pharmacists to follow. It would also require insurance companies to cover costs, the same as if someone was being treated in a doctor's office or urgent care. It could be up for a vote in the Senate soon.
Women who need more than just a mammogram to detect breast cancer may soon get the help they need from state lawmakers. A bill that would require insurance companies to cover additional screenings and breast exams could go before the full House as early as next week. It passed a key insurance committee in the State House yesterday. Patients often have to pay out of pocket for things like MRIs and ultrasounds. Those screenings can cost hundreds of dollars.
Some chocolate bars sold at grocery stores nationwide are being recalled after small stones were found in the product. Tony's Chocolonely Incorporated, based in New York, is recalling Tony's Dark Almond Sea Salt Bar and Tony's Everything Bar. The bars were sold nationwide and online over the past 2 months. If you bought the product, you were advised to return it for a full refund.
4:47, the time on your Thursday. Right now we have some clouds pushing into the area. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Didn't we just see a line like this coming through a couple days ago?
We did. And this is not coming our way, but I wanted to show it to you because eventually we will end up seeing some showers and thunderstorms, but not until Sunday. This is going to be a big issue along the Mississippi Valley. This is going to stall out to the west, sending us some cloud cover from time to time, but we're not looking to see this sort of thing. Strong line of thunderstorms. Matter of fact, my daughter's been texting me from Nashville for about the last hour. Mom, another tornado. So, yeah, it was a pretty rough go for folks back there across Tennessee. What we're seeing here is just a few isolated showers that are popping up, a teeny tiny little sprinkle. We check out Futurecast and you can see that continues as we get through the morning, especially say 8, 9 o'clock this morning, 10 o'clock. Once we get past lunchtime, we begin to see a few holes in the clouds, but it's gray, it's muggy, it's moist out there, and we could see a few sprinkles up until around lunchtime or so. We do have the top of the tower lit in purple for the cloudy skies out there. 71 degrees with a dew point of 65. So again, really warm, really sticky as you're heading out the door. 72 Fayetteville, 68 in Rocky Mount and in Roxborough, but much warmer than it was yesterday. A little closer to the Triangle, 69 in Apex, 70 in Cary, 69 in Garner, 68 degrees in Chapel Hill. So it almost feels like summer out there. Temperatures are 15 to 25 degrees warmer than they were this time yesterday. We'll see mid to upper 80s this afternoon. We're probably going to keep it out of the 90s for the most part today, but that will change tomorrow. We'll climb to 90, looking at probably 89 for Saturday, 87 on Sunday. So we've got a pretty long warm streak of 4 days, but starting Monday into Tuesday, it's like we've moved somewhere up north, a totally different weather pattern. For tomorrow, we'll likely break the previous record 88, looking at a high of 89. And then on Saturday, we might be close to tying it maybe by a degree or two. Does it seem early? It does seem early, but the earliest first 90-degree day in the Triangle happened on March the 12th of 1990. So it's definitely not the earliest. It will be a little bit more on the comfy side for today and tomorrow, and then kind of in the steamy zone, or at least a more uncomfortable zone as we get through the next several days. The next big story is when will the rain start for Sunday for all the thousands of folks that will be here for the Dreamville Festival? I'll walk you through it coming up.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Homemade ramen in space. We'll tell you about the space miso created on the International Space Station and the differences between it and its earthly counterpart.
And then there's this life-size history, a new discovery in Pompeii. What these statues reveal about the role women played in religion in the ancient city.
Today in entertainment news, a look at a series launching today and a movie debuting next month. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Did you take our son along for a demon fight yesterday?
I'm just trying to do something nice here.
Actress and musician Jennifer Nettles acts and sings with Kevin Bacon in the supernatural horror series The Bondsman. Nettles says she was blown away by the script.
As a musician, the way that I read things is the way that I write things. It's like I don't read them with my eyes, I read them with my ears. So how does this sound? Can I hear this? Does this sound authentic? Can I hear this in someone's mouth? And they jumped off the page as real to me, those words. So I loved the storyline.
The Bondsman debuts today on Prime Video, and Bacon and Nettles' album Helen Back is out Friday.
And which genius will explain to me why I'm here?
Keep the cat in the bag until I release it. Yeah? Great. We're looking for the Fountain of Youth.
Oh, please, no.
What did I just say about the cat in the bag?
Cat wasn't happy in the bag.
Here's your first look at Fountain of Youth, directed by Guy Ritchie. John Krasinski and Natalie Portman play estranged siblings who reunite for a global epic adventure in search of the mythical fountain. The action-adventure debuts May 23rd on Apple TV+. Getting my passport in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
In Harnett County, a new pharmacy is opening in Lillington today. There'll be a grand opening for the Cape Fear Valley Lillington Pharmacy, 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. It's the latest addition to the new Cape Fear Valley Health Pavilion on Brightwater Drive.
Scientists have made space miso after sending a soybean mixture to outer space. Check this out. After 30 days, the mixture turned into the paste used in a lot of Japanese dishes. It's thought to be the first time food was successfully fermented in space. Researchers wanted to find out if it ended up tasting any different than a batch made on Earth, and they report that the space miso had a more roasted, nutty flavor in space. The findings could be used to create other types of fermented foods in space, which would give astronauts more options for meals.
You always wonder about those science projects up there, right? For the first time, restaurants here in the Carolinas can get a Michelin star. The Michelin Guide is exploring authentic recipes from the American South. It includes not just us, but Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, and a pre-existing guide in Atlanta. This is the first regional selection since the North American Guide debuted in 2005.
An archaeological discovery in Pompeii, Italy, is shedding new light on the power held by priestesses in the ancient city. Check it out. Two nearly life-size marble statues were found during the excavation over a massive tomb. Archaeologists say the statues show a toga-clad man and a woman. The woman is wearing a necklace with a crescent moon pendant like those worn by priestesses of the cult of Ceres. Ceres was the Roman goddess of agriculture and fertility. She also appears to be holding laurel leaves, which were used to purify religious spaces. They believe that he may have been a priest or the woman's son, and the statues will go on display starting April 16th. How cool is that?
That is some ancient history, right? Welcome to the family here. These adorable little meerkats recently made their public debut at the Oakland Zoo. Officials say 5 pups were born last month. After weeks hidden inside the meerkat tunnels, those newborns are now out exploring their enclosure and entertaining visitors.
Ahead at 5, twister troubles. Multiple tornadoes are recorded across the country. The damage to buildings caught in their path.
A difficult deboarding. Passengers forced to jump off a wing onto the runway. What went wrong inside that plane after touching down?